I originally had a good idea for a cold open for this episode, and then we just spent an hour recording one and put it out as a separate episode. So,
yeah, I figure after doing an hour-long cold open and then just making it his own episode, we can probably just get right into this one.
We can just get right into it.
Yeah.
Some introductions are in order, and we just won't blue balls you guys at all today.
Yeah. Congratulations.
Yeah.
Well, homies one and all, we would like to welcome you back to a very special episode of the Superhero Homies podcast. My name is Quentin, and as always, I'm here with Junior, and Junior, as always, is here with the co-hostess with the mostest. I'm talking about none other than the confirmed world's greatest co-host, the homie Caleb.
I called that Dark Avenger shit. I want that on the record. But here I'm is, folks. I hope you're enjoying it. Disney decided that they were going to drop 2 episodes of Born Again this week. And we are not going to be outdone. So we're going to drop 4 episodes this week.
No, but literally we are.
Yeah, no, we are. We have the back half of Andor Season 1. Mm-hmm. We just recorded our coverage of Marvel's giant list of announcements that they rolled out today. And now we are going to be covering episodes 5 and 6, right? That's
5 and 6
of Born Again. And then Friday, the throwback returns. And we are going to be... we're not going to reveal what we're reviewing, right? We haven't said...
Should we?
You think it'll drum up some hype?
It's possible.
So we actually are going to be reviewing. This is Oz's pick?
This is Oz's pick.
So this is the homie Oz. This is his pick. This is round 2 of the throwback. And he has picked the original Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles movie.
Yes.
Which is very apt because Born Again is on right now.
Right. For those you don't know, there is some correlation.
Yeah. Google that.
Google that.
We've explained it before, but if you missed it, just Google it because I don't remember when we did that.
Yeah. and also, ironically enough, that would be the first episode ever that I am not on.
Yep. Ever. It won't be the last because Wicked 2 is coming up. But it is the first.
It is the first. Won't be the last, but it is the first. Holy shit. Really quickly here, not to blue balls the homies, but did we actually, on the Doomsday episode, did we reveal the Black Panther release date? Or did we say that off mic?
No, we did it.
Okay. Just want to make sure.
Yeah, but in case you're here and want to go scoot over there and get a little tidbit, I believe February 27 or 28.
I believe you said 28.
No.
Well,
let me look here. So we are gonna get Black Panther 3 February 2028. So It's gonna come out after Secret Wars. So there you go. Probably the first MCU movie after Secret Wars.
Yep. And speaking of Black Panther 3, Daredevil Born Again. I guess that wasn't my best.
That wasn't a great segue, no.
You don't think so?
No, I don't really think so.
Huh, okay.
At all, no.
All right. I mean, I thought it was pretty good.
Okay, all right.
Yeah, I mean, Junior liked it too, so,
Yeah, what if we got Matt like one of those nifty vibranium suits since like everyone has one now? That would be awesome.
It would be. Matt Murdock, some people just shouldn't have access to vibranium.
And Matt Murdock is one of them?
He's one of them. Like, I think, homies, I don't know, like, if you guys, how much of the show you've watched, if you've read any comic books, Matt Murdock gets off on fighting, whether he wants to admit it or not.
Yeah.
And so giving him, like, a vibranium suit, he's just going to become a menace.
Well, he can just fight more stronger things.
Yeah.
He could just like 1v1 like Rhino and Vulture and all those guys.
All kinds of fun shit.
Actually, I don't know, man. I think Matt could do pretty good against MCU Vulture.
Yeah, and comic books Vulture.
Well, comic books Vulture, he doesn't. That's not even a contest. That's like just random people are killing that guy by accident.
Man, I saw some wild shit on the internet, which is a crazy statement to say in and of itself.
Yeah, first time that ever happened.
But in all the places, it was in like in a comic book form, and they were talking about Daredevil because obviously Daredevil is really the hot shit right now, and comic book nerds, man, some of them who haven't touched grass in a while, they can really get oddly explicit with certain shit. And this one dude goes on, because it had to be a dude. There's no way that like
nope.
Yeah. But
I don't even know where you're going,
yeah.
But it doesn't matter. It had to be.
Had to be. So like even on this podcast and all of his episodes and all of our discussions about Daredevil and other superheroes and their powers, never came to this fucking conversation here. This guy, it was on. I think the post originated on Reddit, which only makes matters worse.
Correct. I'm really not liking where this is going.
At first, I really liked the direction of this conversation because I agree with the original thesis, which is some people really don't understand how acute Matt's powers are. Like his powers are fucking insane. Like his senses, in my opinion, blows Wolverines out of the water.
Right? Yeah.
I mean, it's just insane. The man can read newspaper like his braille just by feeling the ink on the pages.
Right.
Like in the comic books I was reading just the other day, I was reminded that Matt Murdock he can hear you in the next room. He can hear your spit bubbles pop. Like that's how sensitive this man's hearing is.
Yeah.
So the guy on this Reddit page was going on like a similar tangent, but his whole point was like, Matt immediately knows when a woman gets wet when he turns her on.
Oh, yeah.
I was like, do we really need to have this discussion?
There's a reason that he just, like, gets laid like crazy. It's like, he lures them in with the blindness. But then they're just like, that blind guy fucked me better than, like, anyone in the multiverse ever could.
Yeah. And it's like, with all of his extremely heightened senses, there's a lot of sensual shit that Matt Murdock would be able to do, and that I'm sure he probably takes advantage of.
Absolutely.
Yeah. And not that I blame him, but, that's just one of those weird things where it's like, if you think about it, yeah, he can, but, people don't go around talking about it.
I mean, we are now.
We are now. You are correct.
I mean, Matt Murdock can make you bust in ways that you didn't even know you wanted.
That is true. Yeah. And like, God damn, like Matt Murdock knows when your time of the month is coming up before you do.
Yeah, he is just it's insane. Like here in this episode 5, you see like how he handles that safe. He can handle you. He can crack you just like that. It won't even take him that long.
Won't even take him that long. Yeah. Using the same techniques that he's using that safe too. Yeah. He will figure it out.
Yeah.
Well, with that being said, now that we've gotten the family-friendly portion of the show out of the way.
Now that you know this too.
Yep, that's right. Now that you all are aware of this.
You've now been burdened with glorious purpose.
Oh, shit. Episode 5 of Born Again is called With Interest. This was a very interesting, not really a bottle episode, but kind of a break from norm.
It was interesting. Yeah. Just right off the bat.
Son of a bitch.
Yeah. I mean, I actually had I'm gonna call him out. I had the homie Kyle call this filler.
Oh.
And I was like, just because it doesn't move the A plot forward doesn't mean it's filler. To me, a character development episode is never filler. Mm-hmm. And this actually does serve the A plot in a couple of ways, even though it's indirect.
It does. It's very much serves Matt putting the suit back on. Yeah,
that was kind of my argument as well, is that, yes, we do see him at the end of episode 4. He's training on the rooftop. By the way, full spoilers for all Daredevil everything. Nothing past episode 6 because we haven't seen that yet. Yeah. We wish, but we don't get the press releases. Right. Otherwise, you get these episodes like the day they would drop, like the day of. But Yeah, so at the end of episode 4, we see him training on the rooftop. But then in episode 5, he's just trying to do his thing, and then these bank robbers cause this stuff, and he ends up, he could have kept on going, called the cops, mind his own business, but he went back, he put himself in a dangerous situation, and the key thing here is when he's with the hostages. The episode continuously shows that Matt is like feeling what these hostages feel. He's feeling the fear, the helplessness, the concern for their loved ones and things like that. And like that's the kind of thing that really drives him and makes it harder and harder for him to stay away, because he knows that he's got the ability to prevent this kind of thing from happening.
And a lot of these people, maybe all of them, would have died had Matt not been there.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, except for like the one they had on the inside or whatever.
Except for that.
The mole.
And then again, come to find out, Delvin, like the leader of this unit, didn't really give a shit about her either.
Yeah. Yeah. Nope.
But to start things off here, Matt goes into New York Mutual. It is a big bank there in New York. And he wants to meet with the bank manager, Mr. Aldrich, but he is not in. So instead, Matt meets with the assistant bank manager, Mr. Khan, Yusuf Khan.
Which, as we know, this is Kamala's dad.
And if you did not know that, the show makes sure that you do.
I will admit that I thought this was a little heavy-handed. I think it is heavy-handed if you haven't seen like any of Miss Marvel or like the Marvel. If you don't know that character or her parents, it can feel very heavy-handed. I think at this point you kind of have to. I mean, you gotta at least assume that people know who she is. I think to me what would actually fix it is he mentions like his daughter. He mentions that they talk about Jersey City. He talks about that they have their own superhero. I was fine with all of that. Mm-hmm. It's just like I think the second time he brings her up and it's not even smooth in the conversation.
Yeah.
It's just kind of like, yeah, I know you're here for the loan, but my daughter,
yeah,
it's kind of, you're like, that to me, if you take that second early reference out and you just have the one at the beginning and then they talk about it at the end, I think that would have been fine.
Yeah.
But it feels a little, kind of cartoonish a little bit.
I mean, a little bit, but that's kind of the way that unit feels.
Yeah, you also did drop like the most lighthearted character in the MCU just about into the darkest fucking MCU show.
Which only leads credence to your theory that you mentioned earlier off mic about this being filmed during the original process of Born Again, the show that was going to be 18 episodes long and going to be a completely different feel.
Yeah.
A lot of this, like you said earlier, probably did come from that original shooting.
Yeah. The speculation, and I agree with this, is that other than like the outside stuff with the cops, and maybe the conversation with the actual bank robbers, a lot of this was filmed and repurposed from the original show, which that's not a knock on it. That just means the material was really good and they decided to use it. And like, I thoroughly enjoyed this episode. I loved Mr. Khan being in this. Kevin Feige has talked about this at length, kind of like, you look at some of these different characters and it's like, how do they fit in together, And one of the strengths of the MCU is that you have these characters that seemingly won't work in a movie or show together, but then they do. And I think that this episode is one such example of that. You've got this familial, like, this is a guy who's like, he doesn't have any of the shitty dad traits.
Yeah.
He's like an example of like a father you'd want to like aspire to be like, He's just a really like good father, seems like a nice guy, doesn't really have any like super toxic traits or anything like that.
Oh yeah, he does. He didn't give Matt Murdock his bank loan.
That wasn't up to him.
I don't care.
He just works there. But you got this guy, and you drop him into the darkest fucking corner of the MCU. I mean, little girls say fuck on this show. In the next episode, they got a guy that kills people and paints murals with their blood and shit, you know? So, I'm telling you, man, I need a scene where, like, it can just be like 2 minutes where him and Kamala go and stop a crime, and in like the first 5 seconds of the fight, Matt just like snaps somebody's like shoulder or knee or something, and she's just like, ew, what the fuck? I would pay so much money for this.
Yeah, man. It was interesting getting this character in this show because, I mean, look, if we're being honest, Yusuf here could have been anybody.
Right, but they chose to make this little connection.
Yep. And, it's kind of what makes it, as they say, the world outside your window. And it makes the world feel just a little bit more connected. But, yeah, Mr. Yusuf Khan here, the assistant bank manager, he and Matt discuss a business loan because Matt's law firm, this is also part of the Matt Murdock curse, I'm realizing. Like, he's destitute. I mean, he's just destined to always be like a struggling lawyer.
Yeah, forever.
Yeah. And they discuss the bank loan, but unfortunately, Mr. Khan has to deny Matt the loan. And Matt goes, all right, fuck off. And that's where the episode ends. And there's a huge tragedy that takes place in the bank. A lot of people get murdered. After the loan is denied, Matt, they leave on good terms. But Matt, he leaves the bank and he's on the phone with Kirsten, and they're discussing the fact that, unfortunately, this was yet another no, leading us to believe that this is not the first time that they've gone into a bank asking for a business loan and got denied. But while Matt is leaving, Matt is probably at least a block or two away. And this is when he hears vans pull up, people hop out, and there is a bank heist in progress.
This episode does an incredible job of illustrating Matt's powers, and I think that's why it's so important.
Agreed. And Matt, he immediately hears that, oh shit, there's some shit going down. And what's interesting is that he tells Kirsten to dial 911 and hangs up. If I were her, I'd be so confused.
Yeah.
Then what do I tell him when I call?
Right. I guess you could tell him to like track his phone.
Yeah.
You know.
Mm-hmm. I mean that's true. You know, you tell him that, hey, my blind friend said call 911. He was last at this place, so.
Yeah, I mean that entirely checks out, and it factors in too, because the police get there way quicker than the robbers think they're going to get there.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely. So Matt, he decides to go back, and I love Matt Murdock's blind bit. Even though Matt Murdock is blind, like he does like a, how do I say it? Like almost like I'm just stumbling throughout life type of act that he does.
Yeah.
And there's like a fucking bank heist in progress. Bunch of men and shiesties and ski masks, and they're they got fucking guns and everybody on the ground, and Matt, he just walks in there like it's just a normal another Tuesday.
The very, very beginning of this episode where they showed like the St. Patty's Day like live footage stuff, that was very The Shield, like very reminiscent of how they would have opened an episode, and they did several times like some similar things. Yeah. And I was just like, what the fuck are we doing here?
Right. Yeah, and that is another thing to make mention of. This was St. Patty's Day.
Yep.
Man, they are really on point with their blind jokes this season.
They really are.
One of the goons calls Matt Stevie Wonder.
Yeah.
I'm like, you haven't even seen Matt play the piano.
Right. I bet he can.
In the comics, he actually can. Piano, so there you have it.
I think we've seen him do it in the show actually too.
We might have,
like in his apartment or whatever.
Yeah. And so I mean, we know the answer to this, but at this point, what are you thinking is Matt's reasoning for going back in? Because she's not going to go full ninja right there, you know?
No, but I think he really liked Mr. Khan, and especially like the fact that he's like a father and like seems like a really nice guy. I even like the way he says at the end, he's like, well, that's definitely the nicest no I've received. I think that's the primary driver for it. Just also that he's just that close to something awful possibly happening, and he just can't. At this point, he can't just let it go.
Yeah, I'm the same way, but those reversed. Like, I think he primarily went back because it's a fucking bank robbery in place, and there's a lot of guns in there.
Yeah,
and then also, and I really like that guy.
Yeah.
Yeah. So what happens next is that we get the leader of this gang, and his name is Delvin. Come to find out, and we've seen Delvin before, right? In the other episodes with like the gang meetups and whatnot.
Yeah,
I thought so. Yeah.
Yeah, because he works for Luca, who we will see more of also.
Or no, he works for he's the leader of the opposing gang, right? And he owes Luca the money because didn't they?
Nah, Luca owes the leader of the opposing gang money. These guys work for Luca.
Oh,
yeah, because like Fisk, remember later on, Fisk is like telling him to pay Luca to pay the other guy.
Yeah. Okay.
Luca almost gets fucking murdered.
Yeah, Luca had. I don't want to say Luca had some balls on him, but Luca, there was something going on there. He's really underestimating what Fisk can do right now. But,
yeah, he took a little too much Blue Chew yesterday.
Yeah, man. Actually, I think that was next episode.
Yeah, I think it is, but this all ties into that.
It does. Yeah. So the gang and primarily Devin wants Yusef to open up the vault,
and he can't.
And Matt knows he can't.
Yeah.
And also Yusef knows he can't.
Yeah. Matt's just like, hey dog, why the fuck you telling him you can open the vault?
He's like, I don't fucking know, man.
I just thought that's what they wanted me to say. Yeah. Well, they're gonna fucking shoot you. Matt's like, dog.
Yeah, that was not the smart thing to do. And the SWAT team arrives, and they do get there early. We see SWATs and more detectives, and this is when Delvin gets a call from Detective Kim.
I actually really like Detective Kim.
Yeah.
She was cool. Mm-hmm. I mean, we don't get a lot of her.
We don't.
But she was an interesting character. I'd like to see more of her.
Yeah. And again, like the fact that we really don't see much of her once the cops finally enter the building, it does just again lead more credence to the theory that they kind of just added to repurpose footage from the original shooting of this episode.
And we see her again in the next episode too. So
yeah,
she may end up being kind of a recurring character, which I would like. So.
Oh yeah. Yeah, Detective Kim is really good here. She ultimately doesn't prove to, I mean, I like the character. She doesn't prove to be that useful or that helpful.
No, but she did tell a funny ass joke.
I'm not going to lie. I didn't understand it.
You didn't understand the joke?
No. And I listened to it twice. That shit went over my head both times.
So, okay, so it's the leprechaun asked the priest if they have any nuns, like leprechaun nuns, in their congregation. And he's like, no. And then the leprechaun's like, oh, I just fucked a penguin then. You know, because the penguin would look like like the way that a penguin dresses is the same colors that a nun wears.
Yeah, if I were Devin, 5 people would have got shot right now.
I thought it was funny.
There would have been a fucking massacre in that building if I was Delvin.
Also, her Irish accent was pretty good.
It wasn't bad.
It was better than mine.
Was it better than Matt's?
No, Matt's was fucking awesome. I swear to God, Charlie Cox can do whatever accent. Listen, if you've never looked at an interview of Charlie Cox talking as himself, it's maddening. Like, there's a lot of British people that can do a great American accent, but the fact that his British accent is thick as fuck, and that he can just talk in a Hell's Kitchen accent effortlessly At least to us. It probably ain't to him.
Yeah.
But to us, I mean, you've just never even heard it crack a little bit.
Right.
You know? And the fact that he also can do a perfect Irish accent.
Yeah. I almost thought it was ADR at first.
Yeah.
You know? But yeah, Delvin and Detective Kim, they talk, and at this point, Delvin, he demands 3 heavily armored vehicles within less than 30 minutes. And if not, he threatens to start shooting people. This is a recurring theme with Delvin.
It really is. Also, I've lived in a major city. You can't do nothing in 30 minutes.
Right. Yeah.
Especially on a holiday.
Yeah, it's a holiday, and even Detective Kim says that shit, half the force, which is probably Irish, is shit-faced.
Yeah. And the other half is out trying to kill Matt Murdock.
So Detective Kim says that she's going to need some sort of leverage to trust Delvin, and so she says release a couple of hostages, and then we'll see what we can do about getting you those trucks.
And they try to get rid of Matt.
And
it was brilliant here how he, kind of, and also heroic that, he let the couple go.
Yeah. Really, really brave of him. I think if I were the goons and I had to get rid of 2 people, I would just be like, who's the most annoying? And it probably was Matt.
Yeah, for sure.
Matt, he's not worried for himself here in the situation,
Also, though, you got to think, the blind hostage has got to be the easiest one to manage.
Yeah. Yeah, what are they going to do?
Yeah, unfortunately for you guys.
Yeah, you really drew a short, shitty straw by having Matt Murdock walk into your bank.
This is like you try to rob a bank, and it just so happens like Steve Rogers is at the desk.
Yeah. Even worse, it would be like, it's Steve Rogers, but it's old man Steve Rogers. So you're like, what's this old man going to do?
Yeah. And then he just beats the shit out of all of you with his bare hands.
That is a new definition of old man strength. Oh, man. So, yeah, Matt does give up his spot so that a couple can leave together. And afterwards, Matt has to go pee. And I love how they were cordial enough to, not only take him to the restroom, but also does anyone else need to go? Yeah. That was nice,
I guess, man, if you're going to be in there for a bit, you really don't want people peeing themselves.
Yeah, that's true. And I feel like also in some kind of way, if and when you get caught by the cops, that's going to be an added charge.
Yeah. Yeah.
So when this goon is walking Matt to the restroom, Matt is just casually, calmly undoing his tie.
Yeah.
He's like putting the cane up, and and we know what's about to happen here.
This fight was awesome.
This fight was great.
Yeah.
Because Matt is fighting 2 different battles right here. He is trying to quietly subdue this goon, and he's trying to also stop the gun from falling,
Yeah.
And so it's this cool little balance that we get here, and it's a very well done fight.
And also keep him from firing said gun.
Yes. Yeah.
That's probably the most important part.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of people, I think, because of the heavy CG in episode 1, were worried that we weren't going to get the top-notch fight choreography that this show is known for. And by this point in time, you should probably put that worry to rest.
Yeah.
If this episode didn't do it for you, the next one will.
The next one will.
Yeah.
For sure. So, yeah, Matt does dispatch this guy, and it's a really cool fight scene here. Matt is able to stop the gun from going off and catch it before it falls down the stairwell and choke this guy out all at the same time.
Yeah.
Quite impressive.
And the thing about Matt Murdock choking the shit out of you is he knows exactly when that it's enough.
Yeah.
So he's not worried.
Right. Yeah, and so then right after that he saves Yusuf.
Yep.
knocks that guy out clean.
And then Yusuf's like, I don't know how we're going to get into this vault. And Matt's like, uno momento.
Yeah. Yeah, and Yusuf, he's trying to explain to Matt, like, I don't know what you're trying to do here, but like this vault has blah 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 features, and
yeah, this ain't no fucking piggy bank, son. Like this is a vault.
And Matt's like, I'm aware, and he cracks it.
What's crazy is the whole time that Yusuf is like talking to him, I'm thinking Matt is like, shut the fuck up, dog. Yeah. But his senses are so good. He doesn't even care. He's carrying on the conversation with him.
Yeah. Because at that point, it's not just his sense of hearing, but also his sense of touch.
Yeah, he can actually feel the shit click differently.
Yeah.
And listen, just go grab like the shittiest like $5 combination lock you can and tell me if you can feel or hear that shit click. You can't.
You can't. Yeah. Absolutely not.
Like, if you're a trained locksmith, maybe.
Maybe, yeah. But Matt, he just does this relatively effortlessly.
Yeah. He's like, oh, this is fine, actually.
Yeah. This is good practice.
He's like, click, 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 click. And then, of course, he says the thing, and I cheered. He's like, what kind of lawyer are you? And he says, a really good one.
Yep. I wouldn't be surprised if there isn't already merchandise that says a really good lawyer.
It's gotta
be. As a matter of fact, if you're a lawyer, you want a coffee mug that says I'm a really good lawyer.
Yeah.
Why wouldn't you? I'm not a lawyer and I want one of those. This is when we get the scene when Detective Kim has to make Delvin laugh in 3 minutes.
I thought it was a good joke, man.
No, that episode would have ended there if I was Delvin.
He's just like, he just hangs up and you just hear,
yeah. And then when I call back, it's going to sound like DMX. You think it's a game? You think it's a motherfucking game? Oh. Yeah. Except that'd be gunshots instead of barking. So they end up, Yusuf and Matt, that is, end up retrieving a big ass diamond from one of the security boxes.
Am I the only one who thought that shit looked like one of the Infinity Stones for like half a second?
A little bit, right? Yeah.
I was like, well, Yusuf just fucking picked it up, so.
Well, we don't know where Yusuf is. Look, the origins of Kamala's powers could all be a big ass lie, and Yusuf is like half celestial.
Well, he'd have to be a mutant, right? I mean.
If he's half celestial, he can give birth to a mutant, I'm sure.
I'm sure. Yeah.
Yusuf is not half celestial.
Yeah, he probably wants to know why one of his brethren is in the sea. Dead AF.
Yeah, he probably has some questions about that. Yeah. Oh, man. Yeah, so at this point, they get the big ass diamond and they bring it downstairs to the rest of the gang. And Matt has timed this perfectly so that as soon as he tosses the diamond to one of the goons, the SWAT team breaks in. And then this is when kind of all hell breaks loose. And because there's such distractions going on, no one's paying attention to the blind guy who's beating people's asses.
That one guy, man, Matt didn't have to fuck him up. He's just standing there up against the wall, and Matt just walks by and just instant TKO.
Right. Like, that was like a Batman Arkham takedown.
Yeah, these bank robbers got absolutely fucked.
Yeah. Yeah, they're getting frustrated Matt Murdock, which is never fun to deal with. The next scene we get here is Delvin, disguised as a police officer, is walking out, and he seemingly makes a trade with one of the fake-ass hostages that's in there. And that's when we learn that, one of the hostages is working with Delvin. And, but as we're going to find out here shortly, he didn't actually give her the diamond. He gave her a piece of butterscotch candy, which I would be so mad. Not just because I didn't get that big-ass diamond, but out of all the candies, you got me a butterscotch from Yusuf's bowl. Couldn't even get me a good candy.
Right. Matt goes after him.
Matt does indeed go after this guy.
And this dude's like, oh, who the fuck?
Yeah.
And I'm going to tell you, he wasn't very good at fighting. I mean, he might have been okay, like, in a fight against us.
Yeah.
But, like, not against Matt.
And, you know, I feel that maybe he shouldn't have put up much of a fight at all. But he didn't know he was going up against a ninja, I guess. And the way that Matt breaks this man's leg was gruesome and borderline maybe unnecessary.
Yeah.
But fuck it. You know?
Yeah, the homie K was watching this with me. And so she has a habit of and this was not one such instance, but traditionally if it's a show that she doesn't really have any interest in and she just happens to be in the room while I'm watching it and it catches her attention and she watches it, like 99% of the time, that's going to be like the fucking worst episode of that show ever. The best instance I can think of this happening was with...
was it Gen V?
It was Gen V, and she just watched the finale with me. Yeah. And I was like, no, you don't understand.
She's like, sure.
Yeah, sure, yeah. It wasn't like this. And the same thing happened with Invincible. With it was the very last episode. With the Conquest fight.
Oh, you mean the 9.9 episode? I
don't.
Hey, I'm just saying.
Yeah, I don't mean the 9.9. That was...
It was a 9.9.
Not to me. But, so yeah. But when this happened, she was just like, oh my God. She was like... Why did he do that? And then she was like, I watched the whole Conquest fight and none of it bothered me as much as that. I was like, well, yeah, when it's animated, it's a little easier to just separate yourself from it. But like when Daredevil does like a fucking Morpheus leaping stomp onto someone's kneecap, your own knee, you would start to imagine what your knee would feel like if. And you just really can't stop your body from it.
Oh. Yeah, that shit was gruesome, and I loved it.
Hey, he won't rob a bank next time. Maybe he'll think twice.
I don't think he'd be robbing anything for a while.
the like commissary or whatever at the prison. He gonna steal some of them butterscotch candies.
So the way that this episode concludes is Matt goes back into New York Mutual, and he sits down again with good old Yusuf. And Yusuf, starting off, Yusuf is on that bullshit, talking about some Matt, I hope you're not here about getting a bank loan because even though you're a really good lawyer and you saved my life, fuck you and your bank loan, Matt.
He doesn't say that.
He says exactly. That's what I heard.
But Matt agrees to come to dinner. I'm just saying. I don't know why Matt agreed to go to dinner. Like Kamala is not of age, and there's no hot ass single women in that household. But she's a superhero.
Matt doesn't give a fuck about that.
She got to be old enough by now, right?
A question you never want to have to ask. See, that's what got R. Kelly in the place he's in now.
I know. I'm pretty sure R. Kelly never asked that question.
That's true.
He was like, if I don't ask, I can't get no answers I don't want. Oh, yeah, no. I hope, I'm just saying, I hope we get this in some way, shape, form, or fashion. I need him to go to dinner.
Okay, so how about this? How about we get a post-credit scene in Doomsday, and that's why Kamala Khan and Daredevil aren't in the movies, because they're having dinner. I'm down.
God
damn it. But after Matt agrees to go to dinner and leaves, Yusuf finds that big ass diamond in his candy dish.
Yeah.
We don't know what he does with that diamond.
I mean, surely he returns it.
Yeah, I bet he's assistant bank manager, so I imagine he probably makes pretty good. But man, that big nice house that he has in Jersey City, mortgage is probably expensive. And man, Kamala and her brother, maybe want to go to college, and just saying, if you had a big diamond that was worth probably $2 million.
I think her brother's like married and out the house already.
Did she not have another sibling around her age?
It's just her and the brother.
Okay.
And he's like in the show. I think he's like right about to get married.
Well, hey, weddings are expensive as fuck.
That's true.
You know,
that's true.
So, hey, I'm not saying that Yusuf did pawn off that diamond.
He took it to what's her name, Shadow Broker.
Yeah, to Sharon Carter.
Yeah, Sharon Carter.
Yeah, which is even more fucked up because he's got that diamond now that's unaccounted for and still can't give Matt Murdock his fucking bank loan.
You are really stuck on this shit.
I'm just saying, you know. I mean, you know, the man needs...
Look, Sam Wilson can't get along. He's a motherfucking Avenger.
And he's Captain America.
Yeah, he's famous as fuck.
What is it with these superheroes and not being able to get no kind of cash flow? Holy shit. All right,
back when Tony was alive, it was so much easier.
It was, because they would just go to him.
You just call up Tony and be like, hey, man, can I get like... I mean, I know this is really specific, but like 1.735 mil.
He's like, that is really specific.
Yeah, he's like, fine, yeah, man, I'll cash app you, whatever. Yeah.
Just don't bother me again.
Yeah, I got shit to do.
Oh, man.
Tony would like design an app, and like, he just gives all the Avengers like a limit, and they can just pull money out.
See, that would be exactly why he would just ignore Peter's calls. Like, Mr. Stark, can I borrow $1,800 for rent? God damn it, kid. Again?
Yeah, man. Again, like he's like, I just bought your apartment building. Don't call me again.
Yeah. Thanks, Mr. Stark.
Yeah. Mr. Stark.
All right. Episode 6 is called Excessive Force. What a name.
I really love the title of this episode, and I really love this episode.
You had me going there for a second. I didn't know what you were going to say about that. Because it sounded like you were setting me up to be like, I really love the title of this episode, but maybe not the episode so much.
No, I loved it. I absolutely loved it. I love both of these episodes. Yes. I thought they were dope AF. Hey, before we go to 6, we should score 5.
Score 5? All right, let's go ahead and do it.
Yeah, what you got?
I really like With Interest. I wouldn't go so far as to call this a filler episode. For me, this is a filler episode in the same terms or ways that like The Fly in Breaking Bad is a filler episode. You know, like I really think that this goes to show like where the mind of Matt Murdock is, who he really is at his core as a character, and also this really serves the B plot as well with the internal conflict with the gang shit going on and bubbling up under Fisk. And like you mentioned earlier, this does also serve the A plot in the sense that Matt Murdock, he's got to put that suit back on, and a lot of this just led towards that. I thought that this was well paced. It wasn't long, and it didn't need to be long because of what it was. This, I think, so far was the shortest episode. Like, from beginning to the end of the credits is 41 minutes. A very brief episode, but the pacing in this thing is good. And again, I thought that, like, the tone for this was done really well. They did a good job of building up the gang. We got some good fight scenes in this thing. I give it an 8.5.
Yeah, I'm right along there with you, actually. I'm going to give it an 8.5 as well. I think that it does a really good job of showing where Matt's mindset is going into the next episode. It's a fun cameo that's wildly unexpected, right? Mm-hmm. Whoever sat down and was like, we should mix up these two properties, you know? Yeah. And it was just really well done and a nice, grounded episode, you know? Something can be not as dark tonally and still be grounded. The two are not intrinsically related.
Yep.
Something doesn't have to be dark if it's grounded and vice versa. Mm-hmm. Hell, Empire Strikes Back is dark, and that's just not grounded at all.
Yeah. Very true.
So yeah, there's quite a bit here that's really good, and it's just kind of like a day in the life of Matt Murdock. You know, get turned down for a loan, and then some real fuck shit happens.
Yeah,
and then he puts himself in the middle of it.
You know, for comic book readers, like what this feels like is and this happens more times than not, but if you're reading like a story arc, and that story arc is 6 issues, so you read all 6 issues and you get that story, and there'll be like what they call like a one shot at the end of that arc, and it'll just be a 1-issue arc that's kind of like a fun one and done type story. That's really what this kind of felt like to a degree. And then that one shot typically bridges things from the story you just read and sets up for things to come.
Yep.
That's what this felt like. Quick question before we dive into episode 6. You know, watching this from beginning to end and really seeing that Muse has been musing for a while,
yeah,
it really makes you wonder, what the fuck has Frank been up to?
It's interesting, right? Because they don't go into it. Like, you almost get the feeling from his conversation with Matt that Frank has been franking. Mm-hmm. He's been out punishing.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's like, I think Muse has really flown under the radar. Hector was looking into the disappearances, but, you know, somehow Frank didn't know about it. Daredevil's not on the case. I really thought that it was likely that we were going to get another Defender here. It felt like this was the moment where like a Jessica Jones would pop in, you know?
Yeah.
Like maybe she's investigating one of these disappearances, you know?
That would have made sense because Angela could have gone to Jessica Jones.
Yeah.
That would have made a lot of sense.
Yeah. Yeah.
Well, no, because Jessica would be like, unless you got money, fuck off, kid.
Yeah. Yeah. They killed my uncle, bitch. Yeah, no, I know, bitch. Get out of my office.
Now I wish we had seen that.
Yeah. Yeah. I just love that there's little kids cussing on Disney Plus.
Right.
They let a little girl say fuck on Disney Plus. Like,
it's great.
we don't live in the darkest timeline.
Right.
It's a dark timeline, but not the darkest.
Yeah. A time traveler comes here. They're like, is Kathleen Kennedy in Disney? Yeah. He goes, oh, so she's already got Marvel. What?
Yeah. He shows, the time traveler shows up. He's like, right now, do you know who Harambe is? Yeah, that's that fucking gorilla they killed. He just like, and steps slowly back into the time machine.
No, wait.
Wait, where you going? Take me with you.
Oh, shit.
He's like, in this timeline, so in your timeline, is Marvel owned by Fox? You're like, no, why? He's like, I might stay here for a bit.
And they were like, but you know, we did get like a good 15 years of Fox, X-Men, and Fantastic Four. He steps through the portal.
Yeah.
You know, we did get that Dark Phoenix movie they put out, and then he's already gone.
He pops his head back in. How many Superman movies have there been?
I'm like, look, dog, you want to keep it moving.
Yeah,
This isn't the one you're looking for.
Like, we didn't get Superman Lives, though. He's like, oh, thank God.
Okay. Oh, shit. All right. Excessive Force. Like you, I really enjoyed this episode.
The title is such a good play on words.
It really is. Yeah. To start off here, we get like the BB news report thing that she's got going on.
Yep.
How do you feel about those little segments we get?
I actually really like it because guess what? She's a reporter and she's reportering. Fisk accidentally put me in the group chat. There turns out there's a killer on the loose. I really like this because not only is she a reporter, but she's a young reporter. Mm-hmm. And so she's reporting in the way that like a young person would. She's doing like YouTube shorts and things like that.
Yeah. It's really boots on ground approach. And I really dig it too. Like she's talking to the common man and not an old friend common man, but like the actual.
Yeah. She's not ordering like 49 chicken wings or whatever.
Such a specific number. I feel like I would just get 50.
I know what I'm about.
At the very beginning of this episode here, we get what I put a question mark next to it because I didn't believe it. But we get a swordsman cameo in the BB report. And I was like, is that the fucking swordsman?
Yeah, and then he shows up later.
He shows up later. I was like, that was the swordsman. Again, I just didn't expect to see him here.
I completely forgot that motherfucker was the swordsman too until he like popped up right there, and then I was like, oh yeah, that's the swordsman. Okay,
yeah.
And then he like showed up later on, and the first time that when I watched the Hawkeye show, I had never seen Better Call Saul, and like now all I can think of is this motherfucker's going to kill you.
Right, motherfucker is. I mean, not to segue to a fucking Breaking Bad universe thing, but Lalo is one of the scariest motherfuckers in that whole universe.
And they kind of played off of that in Hawkeye. Yeah. Because, like, when he first shows up, you think he's going to be this evil motherfucker, and then he really isn't. But, yeah. He's not really to be trifled with still, though.
No. Man, so, we've gotten Gus and Lalo in the MCU.
Yep.
I wonder who else we'll get even. Oh, no, we've had, I always forget his name. Not Taco. Better Call Saul. Original character.
Yeah,
fuck.
I know who you're talking about.
Yeah, he was in Homecoming.
Yeah.
He played Proto Scorpion.
Yeah.
So that's 3. No Aaron Paul yet.
This is random as fuck, but there are rumors going around that Bryan Cranston has been cast as Thrag. Yeah. Sorry, I hopped us onto an Invincible here, but you made me think about it.
That would be interesting.
Yeah.
I don't think I'm mad at that.
No. I mean, it'd be hard for me to be mad at Bryan Cranston being cast as just about anything.
Yeah.
You know what would make me mad though is if like y'all never cast him as Lex Luthor.
Well, this is when that time travel steps back in.
Yeah. Hey, name the famous roles Bryan Cranston has played, and they like, all right, yeah, Walter White, and then like Malcolm in the Middle, and then, all right, well, he was in that Godzilla movie, and they're just like, fuck, all right. I'm out. One of those. Tell David Zaslav I said to fuck off.
Shit. All right. Also, very early here in the episode, a sanitation worker finds one of Muse's victims in the landfill, and the victim is without eyes and looks very depleted.
Dude, New York is fucked right now, right? Like, presumably Spider-Man is out here doing Spider-Man shit.
Yeah.
But, like, White Tiger ain't on the job no more. Daredevil ain't on the job. Don't know where the rest of the Defenders are.
Right.
Ain't no Steve Rogers here. If there is, he's an old man.
Yep.
Doctor Strange is apparently not. I mean, even if he was in the Sanctum, he don't give a fuck about none of this.
Yeah. Which I don't think he is. I think he's off in the galaxy with Clea, according to, like, the end of Multiverse of Madness.
Yeah. So, and then, like, the NYPD is corrupt as fuck, apparently. Yeah. And then, like, Fisk is the mayor, so...
It's all fucked up.
Yeah, it's just a bad time.
If you think about it, I guess you can make it make sense, right? Like, the Avengers are disbanded, I mean, there really are no Avengers right now. Which means that, like, a lot of, like, the crime in New York is probably heavily dispersed. So, like, maybe the Defenders are all off in different quadrants trying to deal with other bullshit.
Yeah.
Except for Jessica Jones, because, again, she's not getting paid for that.
Yeah. I mean, yeah, there's probably enough bullshit in Harlem to keep Luke busy.
Yeah.
They ain't no telling what the fuck Danny and Colleen are doing.
Right.
So, yeah, there's... It still makes sense. And then Fisk is the mayor, and he's going to try to fix shit in the ways Fisk would. But, he also drops a line here that's very apt. He's like, it's bad when there's a serial killer and, like, the sanitation workers are finding him before the NYPD.
Yeah. I'm like, he has a point.
And this is where we see Detective Kim again. She shows up at one of the crime scenes.
She does. Also, very early on in this episode, we see a different sanitation worker, I suppose, trying to power wash a Muse of Wilson Fisk, and it is not a flattering image of him either.
No, it was hilarious though.
Doesn't look like it's working. That will definitely come back up again soon. We go to Matt, and Matt is praying, maybe saying some Hail Marys or whatnot, but he is reflecting on like past events, and it's not Matt Murdock unless he is suffering that Catholic guilt, and he's reflecting on like Foggy's death and Bullseye and Hector Ayala and just and Karen and just all the bullshit that he's kind of gone through.
We get some scenes of the bank hostages here too.
Oh yeah, that too. So all of that is just kind of replaying through Matt's mind. This is when we get kind of like more dual scenes between Fisk and Matt. We get Luca, who's meeting up with Fisk, while Heather is talking with Matt about vigilantes.
You remembered her name. That's so sweet.
I wrote it down.
Oh, fuck. They really, really laid into the Matt and Fisk duality here.
Mm-hmm. How do you... Odd question for this placement, or odd placement for this question. How do you think this season ends?
I think they're going to keep Fisk as mayor. 3 episodes seems like a quick way for that to go down, and I think there's still so much more they can milk from that. Mm-hmm. I don't think they should end it early. I think maybe like next season he finally does some fuck shit and like can't be the mayor anymore. Yeah. But for me, I would have this season end with, Matt comes out, like Matt is like seen as Daredevil, and Fisk basically ups the war against the vigilantes. Hell, maybe he even tries to pin the Muse killings on him.
Oh, shit.
Or frame him for something else. But I think that Fisk is really gonna, he told Matt, like, hey, as long as you don't put on the suit, mm-hmm. we won't have a problem. And
Matt was like, as long as you ain't up to no fuck shit.
Yeah. And both things are true. So they have to pay that off.
They absolutely do. Yes. Absolutely. So Heather drops news that she wants to interview Punisher. and if I'm Matt, this would be like the first big red flag for me, like in this relationship. Like, you want to interview who?
I love his reaction when he's just like, oh, no, I think that'd be hilarious. Yeah, that'd be great. That'd be great.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. Because Frank would never agree to it.
No.
But even if he did, Matt would just be like, yeah, go ahead. Like, go ahead and, like, put yourself through the fucking trauma of talking to Frank Castle.
Right. And it's like, even though Frank wouldn't hurt you, you're still in danger.
Yeah.
Yeah. That is a certified lunatic. Yeah. We love Frank Castle, but let's keep it a buck here. The man is not all there.
And you're not going to be able to publish anything he says.
Absolutely not. Absolutely.
Because it's all going to be deranged, unhinged.
Yeah.
Shit.
And this is when Luca is on his fuck shit. He put on his big boy pants for this.
Oh my God. Listen, I don't know what he thinks. I guess he thinks he's just going to replace Fisk. But there was a point during this conversation. It's when Fisk ups the money he owes by $1 million. He's just like, you're going to pay me $1 million to have said what you just said to me and still breathe.
Yeah.
And I think Luca's going to die. I don't think Luca's going to make it very far.
It doesn't seem like anything Fisk said sunk into Luca's head.
No, he's just like, nah, I'm on top now.
Yeah. Yeah, Luca basically said that he wants Fisk out of the game. Like, he said that to Fisk's face, And again, I don't know who Luca thinks he's fucking with. I'm assuming that Luca was not present while Fisk was the Kingpin.
Yeah. People used to be scared to say this motherfucker's name.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like, the only person who wasn't scared of him was Madame Gao. That's it.
That was the only one. Yeah. Yeah. So, Luca, he is own one, but I don't think he's long for this role.
Nope.
Heather also alludes to maybe wanting to speak to Daredevil, and I'm like, well, got some good news.
That's a terrible idea, but true.
So, come to find out from Johnny in sanitation, who's been there for 35 years, the Fisk mural that they've been tasked with taking down, they can't because, and long story short, it's because it is laced with human blood.
Yep.
And so it's not coming down, but more to the point, the human blood.
Yeah.
Why is there human blood in this paint? And they're like, well, the problem is that there are more murals in this style all over the city. So they've been tasked with like finding out how many of these murals are there, and like, do we have like some kind of epidemic on our hands here?
And yeah, they find out there's a serial killer who's done killed like 60 people.
Who's killed about 60 fucking people, dog.
And around this same time, Cherry informs Matt of that same situation, basically.
Yes. Yeah.
And you can just tell Matt is on edge here.
Oh yeah. But before we get to the Cherry scene, which by the way, it's been a while since we've even seen Cherry.
Yeah, it was nice to see him back. It's like, okay, you're still here. Yeah.
Before that, we get Angela, who meets with Matt at his law firm.
Yeah.
And she talks about the missing people, and now it's just my running theory that I'm going to stick with. She went to Matt Murdock because she knows he won't charge her, and Jessica Jones will.
Yeah.
But yeah, Angela, she wants to talk to Matt about all the missing people, and she knows that there's something Matt can do. At one point, when Matt says something like, "Well, what do you expect me to do?" I thought she was going to say, "Well, you're a Daredevil, right?" So that would have been funny, but she does not say that. She's just looking for help from somewhere, from anyone, and she shoots straight with Matt, and she really likes that Matt shoots it straight with her.
Yeah.
But Matt is still very much reluctant to do anything. He says, take it to the police. And she's like, bitch, the police killed my uncle.
Yeah. Yeah. She's like, I'm not going to talk to them. And she said something along the lines of like, the police won't do anything and you won't do anything and there's nobody to help.
Yep.
And you can tell this just grates on Matt even further.
Yep.
Because he's like, I have the power to do something here.
Mm-hmm. But he's made a vow to himself. We'll see how long he keeps that vow. Spoiler alert, it's not very long.
Yeah, you got about 10 minutes.
This is, again, when we find out that Muse has at least 60 victims. God damn. And this is when they're meeting with like Detective Kim and the police commissioner.
Who Fisk already has like static with.
Already got static with. But now, I'm not saying that I'm with Fisk, but on this particular matter, I might agree with Fisk a little bit here.
This dude sucks.
He's a shitty. He is no Gordon.
Yeah.
He is no Commissioner Gordon.
Yeah, he's a very shitty police commissioner because like somebody killed 60 fucking people on his watch. And then Fisk is like, yeah, I put together a task force. And he hands the guy like the folders and he just like quickly like thumbs through them. Mm-hmm. Like it's a blue folder on Suits. Some of y'all get that. And he's just like, wow, this is the worst of the worst. I'm like, if you know they're the worst of the worst, why do they all still work there?
Right. Yeah. Are you that short-staffed that you're going to keep these cruel, evil motherfuckers on the force?
And, of course, Fisk does what Wilson Fisk would do, what would make sense to him. He creates a task force of dirty cops. Someone should make a show about that. And like, they report directly to him. And, and they're just going to kind of do his bidding with no body cameras or any of that shit.
Sounds like a great plan.
I'm sure it can't go wrong. This is basically season 1 of The Shield.
Yeah, so we get What I think is the funniest part of the episode here, we get Muse, who's out there musing, and I just have written down, Muse kills 2 dumb bitches.
Yeah, they're like, "Are you Muse, the serial killer? Can we get your photo?"
And Muse is like, "Are y'all for real right now?"
He's like, "I'm gonna kill you.
I'm gonna kill you both right now."
And he didn't even take them to his like Muse lair,
the Muse cave,
the Muse cave,
the museum.
Oh, that's really fucking good. Yeah, I can't even be mad at that. I really like that. That was quick.
We get a brief scene here at the fundraiser here that Fisk is holding, and this was actually pretty interesting. This is where we get more of the swordsman.
Yeah.
And I don't know who that rich Karen was, but she laid into Fisk.
She did.
Yeah.
Part of me felt like, and still feels like, that Fisk is going to pull a Joker and kill all these people.
Absolutely. And again, and it's like, I even thought this during this moment. I was thinking to myself, all this shit going down in this episode to Fisk is terrible for Adam.
Oh, it is.
And then, wouldn't you know it?
Yeah.
So, actually, this is when we get the scene where Cherry tells Matt about Muse, and Cherry is so hesitant to talk to Matt about this.
Oh, yeah, because he knows.
Yeah. And Matt can hear Cherry's heartbeat, and Matt's just like, just fucking tell me, bro. And Cherry does. Yeah, man, there's a serial killer going loose. He's killed at least 60 people. Let the police handle it.
Yeah. Yeah, because they're doing a great job. I'm sure there won't be a 61st.
They're all over it.
They're all over
Trust
it.
me.
Fisk has a task force. You know what, actually...
Fisk organizes the task force, and like we said earlier, I'm sure that there'll be no consequences to that.
Yeah, he gives them like the lawful evil Captain America speech.
Right. Also, during this meeting with like all these crooked ass corrupt cops, there is a pretty notable cameo here. There's a character here who he singles out named Detective Cole North.
Yep.
He is a prominent character in the comic books. I do not like him in the comic books, even though he is technically, he's not corrupt. He is straight laced, gung ho, as good as they are. But he's still a bitch to me. He shoots. I guess spoiler alert. He shoots Matt Murdock in the comic books, and Matt is saved by Daredevil and given one of those Frank Castle speeches. You should do it my way, Red. This way's the good way, and blah blah blah. But yeah, anyway, Cole, he's really gung ho in the comic books about like bringing down vigilantes, and he thinks that they operate outside the law, which they do, and Daredevil has been accused of beating a man to death, which come to find out Matt actually did.
Whoops.
Yeah, whoops. Yeah, it was Matt's first whoops, And like the fact he went this long without a whoopsie,
I thought he'd be stronger.
Yeah, I thought he'd be stronger. But yeah, so to see Cole North in the show here, that was a fun kind of wink and nod cameo here. He looks like he's a corrupt piece of shit instead of a straight-laced piece of shit. So we get... I had to write this down because I didn't want to forget it. Matt gets a phone call from, was this Hector's wife or Angela's mom? It had to be Hector's wife, right?
I think it was Angela's mom.
Okay. I didn't know if there's a relationship there between those two, but it probably was Angela's mom. And she's asking if Matt had seen Angela, because at this point, Angela had gone down into the sewers, and we don't even need to see it. We can just assume at this point she was taken.
Yeah.
And then later on, we see that she is being carried off by Muse. But Matt says no, he hadn't seen her, and the mother is very much concerned. Matt gets off the phone, and he's sitting there, and he just says, fuck it.
I love this. Because it was such a perfect way for it to go about that he's just like, fuck it. And he goes and puts on the suit.
Oh, man.
Because it's been episode after episode after episode of it building. And finally, he's just like, if I don't do it, nobody's going to.
Yes.
And like, he can't let her get killed.
That will weigh down on his conscience so heavy.
Yeah, he already feels guilty about Hector.
Yep.
He can't let his niece die. Also,
yeah. I don't know if Matt would ever forgive himself for that.
No.
Just a weird note. I know you haven't seen the Daredevil movie, and I don't blame you.
I have a knack every now and then for avoiding these things, like Batman Ninja 2.
But in episode, I guess it was episode 4 when he's on the rooftop with the baton of the Billy Club and all that. I'm surprised no one has made a cut of Evanescence "Bring Me to Life" while he's doing that, because that would have been the moment for it.
I think everyone who loves this show is collectively trying to forget that shit ever existed.
That's fair. That is fair. So at this point, we get Matt suiting up and looking for Angela. And by the way, I really love the shot of him running and jumping off the rooftop and swinging away. That looked really good.
It looked really good. And I actually did see some complaints about that.
Really?
They were mainly on that website that we don't talk about.
Oh, of course.
Those motherfuckers.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, most of the audience reception to this show has been overwhelmingly positive.
Oh, yeah.
I've heard people complain about the CG in the first episode. But hell, they used the CGI here, and it looked really good to me.
Yeah. And again, that they thought the CG looked really good here too, because it was way more bright here.
Yeah. They put it right up in front, made sure you could see it.
Yeah. Muse is preparing Angela for the blood draining process. And this doesn't look fun at all for poor Angela.
At least he put her to sleep first.
That's true.
And he looked like he was draining that one dude while he was alive and awake.
Yeah. I mean, he was probably on the time crunch,
Yeah, got shit to do.
Yeah. Maybe scared blood is different to work with than seduced blood.
Well, that guy may have only been number 42, 43. You got to pump them numbers up.
Yeah, those are rookie numbers.
Yeah.
So the two dumb bras, that had to be 61 and 62.
Yeah. He didn't even take them back to the museum to be drained. He was just like, yeah, I don't even want y'all's blood. Yeah. It's clearly inferior.
So at this point, we again get these dual scenes, and I love this.
Oh, it's so good.
So Fisk is walking up to Adam's fucking chamber, and Fisk has an axe behind his back here. I'm not gonna lie, this scene did not go the way I thought it was gonna go.
No, it went the way I thought it was gonna go, in the sense that it was bad for Adam.
Yes.
But I gotta say, if I'm Adam, I probably, as much as it would suck, would rather Fisk kill me with the sax.
But the problem is, after this said scene, Adam's still alive.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. I'm saying that I would rather have had Fisk kill me with that axe.
Yeah.
Because now he can come back and do this again later. Is he just going to show it with a increasingly lethal weapon each time? Next time he shows up, it's going to be a knife.
Bro, 4 weeks from now, Fisk is going to be like, this is an empty AK-47. There's a full clip behind me. Get to it, motherfucker.
Yeah. Finally, he's just like, this is a rocket launcher.
But this scene is incredible because it's set up to make us think that Fisk is about to American Psycho poor Adam.
Adam, this is a lightsaber. I can say that because Disney owns that shit.
Disney owns this property, Adam, you see. So now you will utilize this, and this is also a shot of midichlorian to give you access to the Force.
If you press that button right there, a beam of light will emit from
the edge of that hilt, and it can cut through nearly anything, Adam, you see. You will use that to face me. Earn your freedom. Make it a fair fight.
And then the camera's been on Fisk this whole time, and it just pans over to Adam, and he looks like fucking Superman from Flashpoint.
He does look a little bit like Robinson Crusoe, you know, with the beard and...
Bro, Fisk beat the shit out of him, man, and he's still alive.
That axe didn't mean shit.
No.
It didn't mean it. Fisk, give him a full meal so he can have some strength or something, you know.
How many times do you think Fisk gonna beat the shit out of Adam?
I do not know. I don't know.
I don't think he knows either.
Yeah, and if you're Adam, here's the shitty thing about it. If you're Adam, you've probably been thinking, dreaming, if I can get free of this cell, I can get past Fisk and I'll beat his ass or this, that, and third, and I'm getting out of here. Not only does Fisk open up your cage, he gives you an axe, and you can't do shit.
Bro, Fisk is fast as fuck for being his size.
Yeah.
He fights Spider-Man, my guy. Yeah. You gotta do something.
He beat the shit out of Daredevil and Frank Castle.
Yeah.
You know? Like, you got your work cut out for you, Adam.
Yeah, and Daredevil and fucking Dexter.
Yeah.
He beat him and Daredevil and Bullseye fought, and for a while, Fisk was ahead.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, like, I don't know what to tell you, Adam. Like, I don't have any advice for you, bro. Like, you just gonna have to.
My advice to you would be the next thing that Fisk gives you, you should probably off yourself with it. That's your only way out of there.
Yeah, yeah.
Because he's never gonna let you go.
He's not gonna let you go, bro. He's not. And Fisk knows that you're not gonna earn your freedom.
And you're not gonna beat him.
Yeah. So, sorry, Adam. But while that fight is going on, I just love this shot, right? Muse is getting ready to drain Angela's blood. And then, like, a train goes by, and something just kind of tells Muse, I should check this out. So he peeks outside the museum.
And sees the shit you do not want to see.
He sees Daredevil sprinting full speed towards him, and then the grappling hook shoots behind Muse's head. There's Matt Murdock.
This shit was horrifying.
Oh my gosh. You know, Muse was like, what the fuck?
Yeah. He's like, what the fuck is that?
And
dog.
Then Matt proceeded to beat the ever-living dog shit out of Muse.
Like, Muse kept trying.
Yeah.
But, like, Matt was one step ahead of him this entire fight.
Oh, yeah. There were a few moments there towards, like, the latter half of the fight where Muse got some stuff in. But Matt does this badass shit at one point where, like, Muse hits him. And, like, you see, like, the back of Muse, and then, like, Daredevil is, like, kind of in the background, and Matt's got a bloody mouth. He just turns his head and spits blood and just goes to work on Muse. That shit was incredible.
He, like, hulks up during the fight at one point.
Yeah. I've been trying to tell y'all, man, Matt Murdock gets off on this fighting shit.
He
loves
does.
it.
Especially, there's, like, the one point where, like, Muse goes for, like, another weapon or the door or something, and Matt just does some ridiculous spin flip kick and just
oh my gosh,
kicks him into the fucking wall.
Muse is like, I think I'm bleeding inside my chest.
Yeah, he's like, go paint a picture then, bitch. But of course he Goku's him, and Muse gets away.
Yep.
Do you think Muse is gonna fare better in the future against him?
He should. We can maybe chalk it up to Muse was like, I wasn't ready, dog. I wasn't ready.
Yeah, I don't even know who you are. Yeah, you just showed up at my house.
Yeah, beat my ass.
And beat the shit out of me. I'm trying to work.
Yeah.
I work from home.
Right, I work from home. I'm a struggling artist.
Yeah.
Oh, shit.
And then I just peek outside, and this motherfucker's running like 60 miles an hour. Directly
at me. I feel like Muse will file a police report against Daredevil. This motherfucker broke into my house, kicked the shit out of me.
Yeah. I barely escaped with my life.
They're like, sir, and what did you say you do again? I'm an artist.
I'm an artist.
Yeah, but that's not important. What's important is that this maniac in a devil suit just beat my ass in my own house. Y'all should do something about this. Call the cops. But Matt is able to resuscitate Angela. And that is where this episode ends. Man, what a great ending, man. We see Angela being brought back to life while Adam is fighting for his life.
This show didn't have to go this hard.
Yeah.
But they just keep killing it. And they keep doing it in various ways. Like, they continue to take the show into new avenues, and I still like it everywhere they take it. Regardless of like how light or dark the tone is, regardless of where they take the story. I mean, even most of the humor lands really well. It's just all really, really well done, and they don't waste a lot of screen time. And the world feels really lived in. That's easy to do in New York, but you know, people have fucked it up before. And I just really enjoy pretty much every aspect of this show, and they aren't afraid to put the camera on Charlie Cox and Vincent D'Onofrio.
Yep.
And just let them do their thing. And the more that they do that, like, if you can't figure out what to do, just do that.
Yeah.
And I think this show knows that because they're just infinitely interesting to us, and seeing all the different facets of both of these characters. And this season, I think, has done better than the Netflix show ever did of showing the dichotomy between Matt and Wilson.
I agree. I mean, obviously, it was set up in the Netflix series very well.
Yeah.
But this season is playing directly on that dynamic between those two.
Yeah.
I just got a wild theory here. So we know that this show's been greenlit for season 2.
Yeah.
And we know that that they are bringing back, apparently, Foggy to some degree for season 2.
Yeah.
What if this show comes out post Secret Wars, where the road has been kind of reformed again?
Yeah.
Would that be an acceptable way for you to bring back Foggy?
Like, for me, the only way I would want that is like if this Matt was on the war world and remembers everything, like knows that Foggy died before the multiverses merged, and always kind of has that lingering, you know, that he had to go through what it was like to lose his friend. I think I would appreciate that way better than some elaborate they faked his death bullshit.
Yeah, same. You know, we've seen Matt Murdock on the big screen, MCU Matt Murdock on the big, Charlie Cox's Matt Murdock on the big screen. We have not seen Charlie Cox's Daredevil on the big screen yet. That needs to be rectified.
I agree. Do you think that if we get him in Secret Wars or any Avengers, that they will go for the more classic suit look?
It's possible. You know, someone pointed this out. Actually, it was someone interviewing Charlie Cox, and they asked, you know, when will we ever get the suit with the double D's on it? And you know, he was being very coy about it, but you know, so it is possible that we could.
It is very hinted we're going to get the black suit in season 2.
Oh,
yeah. Some people got some like shots of them, like, I guess on set or whatever, and he has this big old overcoat and he's like wrapped.
Oh yeah.
But even with it, you can see that he's got like kind of like greaves on.
You know what's interesting is that like the book that has Muse in it, it's like that big Chalker Daredevil book. You can't miss it. Charles Soule Daredevil.
Yeah. Him
and Elektra, he's wearing that black suit on the spine even.
Yep. And that's the one that they're talking about.
That would be interesting. I would love if he wore like the Devil's Reign suit. It's like he's got like a hood and like a bottom half cowl, and then his aesthetic is more ninja. I would love if he would get that suit. Yeah, so as of now, 3 more episodes left, man. Do we have to get at least one more Frank Castle appearance, right?
I think we've got to play, like, at some point we're going to see Matt versus, you know, Fisk task force.
Yep.
Maybe Matt and Frank versus them. And, like, I'm going to be honest with you. Mm-hmm. Even if it was just Matt, they're fucked.
Because, like, what gear did Fisk really give them?
Some bulletproof vests, it looked like.
Well, Matt's not going to shoot you.
Yeah.
You're going to wish he did.
Yeah. Yeah, he's going to beat you in the face.
Yeah.
Probably with an object. But
right.
even if it's just his fists, like...
Yeah, a suitless white tiger beat the shit out of two of you.
Yeah. Correct. Yeah, y'all don't have enough people to beat Matt. And you definitely don't have enough people to beat Frank. Because, like, the shit that Frank is going to shoot you with, the bulletproof vest ain't going to stop.
Yeah. Absolutely not.
Yeah, Frank doesn't own anything less than, like, I mean, he got a 50 cal. Mm-hmm. For sure.
Oh, yeah. And then, like, imagine seeking out Frank Castle. You think anyone can just... I mean, clearly, anyone cannot just walk up in there.
No. Matt is, like, the only person.
Yeah. And he almost got a hatchet to the head.
Yeah.
You know? So, yeah, it would be very unwise for them to go looking for Frank Castle. But I think that's where he's going to come back at. I think that that this task force is going to go looking for vigilantes. They know to look in the subways, right?
Yeah.
And we know that Frank is somewhere underground, subway adjacent. If they go and they stumble upon Frank Castle, good fucking luck.
I hope this season has the balls. The way that the first 6 episodes have gone, I do not think we should get a Fisk and Daredevil fight this season.
I agree. Yeah. Especially since, you know, we get that in season 1 and 3.
And 3, yeah.
So, and I like where the show is going with that, but I think it should end with, like, both of them seeing each other clearly as who they are. And, like, it doesn't even have to be that many words spoken, but just the acknowledgement that each of them have broken their word to the other.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah, 100%.
Yeah.
Like, I would like to see them fight in maybe a season 3. Because it seems like with season 2, if we're going to have the Defenders there, we're probably going to step the threat up some.
Yep.
I don't want the Hand to show up, though. Please, 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 please.
You know, they did give us a lot of the Hand. But, you know, I learned this recently, but, like, with the Defenders verse stuff as a whole, whenever they would, like, want to do something bigger, they would just get told, we don't have the budget for it, do a fist fight.
Yeah.
And it's like, on one hand, the Hand is perfect for that. But on the other hand, as we saw, especially in season 2, that shit can get old pretty quick. Yeah,
agreed. I don't think it's. I mean, honestly, there's got to be a villain that they can fight that would make sense. I mean,
for sure, yeah.
You can take anybody out of like Spidey's Rogue Gallery. Probably.
Man, if only we had like a character who could mimic people's abilities and wear like a skull mask. Like, I don't know.
That would be wild.
Someone who's really up to the task, you know.
Yeah.
A master of it even.
It maybe even, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Huh.
I don't know though. I'm just spitballing.
That would be something, you know.
Yeah.
I think we're going to get season 2 of Daredevil. I think at the latest we're going to get it in early 2027. Like, I think we might get it next year.
You think
they're already filming it?
That's true. So you think we'll get it before Doomsday even?
Yeah.
Yeah, I can see that.
Yeah, I think so. I think if we get another Fisk and Matt fight, it should be like a season 3, maybe at the earliest. But I don't know. If they're gonna put him in the black suit, that indicates maybe a darker tone for season 2.
Yeah.
We'll see how it goes.
What if Fisk gets like a makeshift mech suit and goes, "I'm Luke Cage"?
No, I don't think that's.
You didn't even think about the idea that much. You just shot it down immediately.
No, I just imagine this pasty white motherfucker talking about I'm Luke Cage while he's wearing a suit.
All right, fine then. I guess we should go ahead and score this one before we skedaddle.
Yep. I'll go first on this one. I'm going to give this episode a 9.5. I thought it was stellar. This episode gives you everything that you could want out of an episode of Daredevil. We got not one, but two really good fights. The fights had importance to the character and to the story. The way that they were shot was really good. The score in this episode was really good. They did a really good thing with the music here. We also got, we finally got Matt in the suit, and I'm really glad that Born Again took its time getting there and wasn't in a hurry to get to that moment because it made it mean so much more. I'm struggling to find much about this episode to really complain about, and any issues that I do have, I feel like are just kind of minor sort of nitpicks. I thought that this was tremendous, and it continued to show how alike our protagonists and our antagonists really are, which makes them such a good a foil for each other. So
I'm right there with you, man. As a matter of fact, I had the same kind of score in mind. A 9.5 is just so fitting for this episode, which is so ironic because I think we both gave episode 4 a very similar high score, and episode 4 didn't have any action scenes in it, and that's kind of why it didn't get, even higher. But it's like this show, to me, just keeps firing on all cylinders, and people can like what they like for sure. That's Superhero Homies rule number 10. But I just don't see why so many people seem to be so impatient with Matt putting the suit back on. If the story is there and the motives are there and the character reasonings, everything is all there, this kind of slow burn, this build, I think is working perfectly. To the point where when we do see Matt put that suit back on, it just means so much. And they did such a great job building to that moment. And even with Fisk, seeing him make that transition again from Mayor Fisk to the Kingpin, that is also a very slow descent that we're seeing happening as well. Like the shit he's doing to Adam, there's nothing mayoral about that. That is all Kingpin's shit going on.
The task force he's putting together.
Yep.
Of criminals, basically.
Yes, the anti-vigilante task force.
Yeah.
That does not bode well for any of our heroes in this show.
The Sinister 17.
Still better than whatever Sony had planned.
Whatever Sony was gonna fucking do.
Yeah, this show is just it's amazing, and I'm so curious to see what these next 3 episodes look like. I am both happy and a little sad that we really don't get like next week on Born Again, because I want to know, but also fine, I'll be a big boy and wait.
We got 3 weeks left.
3 weeks of this show left, man. It's been flying by,
And then we're gonna, as we found out earlier, we're gonna be rolling right into Last of Us is gonna be back on by then, and then we're also gonna be rolling right into Andor season 2.
Yep, and then right into Thunderbolts.
Yeah.
So I mean, yeah, it's rolling, guys. And speaking of rolling, once again coming up, we got Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, the original 90s movie. And Monday we have
The Forbidden.
We have that movie which has been sought after. That movie which all of you, I'm sure, want to see. And that is, of course, Fantastic Four.
From 94. Listen, I've seen nothing about this movie. I haven't seen a screenshot, a trailer, nothing. I have no idea what sorts of horrors await us. I just know that it probably won't be worse than Fanforstic.
I don't see how it could be. If it is, my gosh, I don't know if we can recover. We'll do what we can, though. I am in a weird, kind of masochistic kind of way. I am looking forward to watching and reviewing the 1994 Fantastic Four movie.
I kind of am too.
Yeah.
As long as no one has fake ears glued onto their suit for no reason, I think I'll be all right.
That was such a oddly specific thing you mentioned there. What early 90s superhero movie would ever do such a thing?
1990 Captain America.
Oh, really?
Fucking A.
You mean the greatest Captain America movie to come out in 1990?
Yeah. I mean, it was. It was one of the movies of all time.
Oh man.
On that note, folks, it's probably about time that we wrap it up since we got hours and hours of content coming for you this week. We are not done. We still have Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles this Friday. So,
absolutely. Homies, again, thank you guys for joining us for this. This has been hella fun here. We technically recorded 2 episodes here tonight.
Back to back.
Back to back. That's what we do here. That would be all for now, but until next time, my name is Superhero Homie Q.
And I'm Superhero Homie Caleb.